Hey, how's it going? One more week down, and maybe this time we will actually get it out on time. Last week, because I made a short one, I think it was like 10 minutes or something, and I was uploading it probably 11:45, if not 11:50. And I was thinking, it's short, there's not a lot of video, there's not a lot of audio, it'll process real quick. And nope, it didn't get officially posted till like 12:04, so technically a Monday. And I guess I kind of broke my streak of wanting to always upload by Sunday, and that's what I get for not planning ahead and either pre-recording it when I had time earlier on in the weekend or the week, um, or even just reminding myself. Because, like I said, I was going to bed when I realized I didn't do it. Well, this week it's 11:12, and I expect this one's going to be maybe 10 minutes ish. Don't have too much to talk about, but we'll see how much I ramble. And I'm expecting that, once I've got the footage already, once I get that together, I will get it out before midnight, before it rolls over to Monday, but probably not too close. So that's going to be a good segue eventually into what this is the week of. But just to do a mini recap of my week, last weekend, I had my holiday Secret Santa party with my friends, and it was fantastic. I have to drive like an hour and a half, 2 hours to see most of my friends, my D&D group, my college group. And it's a lot because an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back minimum is 3 hours of travel time. It's a lot of driving. And I do it very often. And a lot of times on the drive, I think, man, is this worth it? Like, I'm really committing a lot of my life to this. And then within 15 minutes of being there, I am having such a great time and laughing so hard that I go, oh yeah, I would have driven like 3 hours for this easily. So I'm so grateful to have friends like that and to be able to have those moments. I tried to keep it as secret as I could, but I made one of my friends what turned into 27-minute long video that was a bunch of clips, montage-ish style of things we did over the year, and that was his Christmas present. It took me more than 30 hours of work, but it was all worth it because not only did he really enjoy it, but everyone else at the party loved it, and I did have fun making it despite the time. But of course, similarly, I didn't plan ahead enough to get everything ready and do it more over a longer period of time rather than just trying to cram it. And I did that with the first two videos I did in December for two other friend groups as well, which is going to take us straight into what this is. This is going to be talking about the week of planning. So I've realized that one of the big things that I've been lacking is my planning skills. And I have a decent skills or a decent grasp on like macro planning and the idea that what I want to get done by this date and what I have for this week is X, Y, and Z. The problem is once I start getting down to the minutia of it, and especially breaking down that time, for example, the video, I said, I'm going to have this, I've got 2 weeks, I'm going to get this video out by the Friday before the holiday party, so the day before. But instead of going, okay, I'm going to block out 5 to 7 on Tuesday, and 8 to 11 on Wednesday, and 8 to midnight on Thursday, and then sticking to those, I very much just go, well, I know I'm going to get it done because I said I will. And so if I say I'll do like a couple hours on Tuesday, and then my friends say, hey, let's play League of Legends, I'll go, oh, sure, I'll play League because I'll find time later to do it. And I've got a bit of a toxic or self-destructive personality trait in that, well, I love hanging out with my friends and playing games, and unfortunately, that cuts into any planning time I have if I start moving stuff. Heck, today is a great reason, or a great example. I said I'm going to come home and I'm going to do some cleaning and I'm going to do some prep work so that next weekend I can go ice skating. Well, I got home and my friends wanted to play some League, so I went, okay, I'll play a couple hours of League. We should be done between 6 or 7 o'clock. And then 6 o'clock rolls around, and my buddy goes, hey, it's Shitface Sunday. Let's play Rivals. And I'm like, well, if that's the rules, I mean, I participated in 30 beer Thursday, 50 beer Friday, and 60 beer Saturday. I don't drink, so not actually. But, with all of that, I got to play some Rivals. And now it's 11:15, and I had to actually call it early. I think if I would have stayed on, other people would have kept playing. But I wanted to make sure I got this out. And so, yeah, all of my planning, my ideas to do laundry and clean and whatnot went out the window because I substituted it for other things. And I don't hate that idea, but I've got another big thing coming up in 2 weeks that this place needs to be cleaned for. And, I work during the week and I have other things I like to do during the week. So I'm going to have to either give up my plans for next weekend or make time in the in-between and whatnot to make it work. So that's what I want to focus on planning this week. So what does it mean to plan and why? Well, I kind of talked about it, the micro versus the macro, and actually I kind of talked about both of this. This is what I get for reading off of my notes afterwards. But yeah, it's important for me to get the macro of it down to understand where I want to be at what time. I want my place to be clean by February 8th. Actually, February 7th. Now, what does that mean? That means that I have 12 days. No, I've got more. Let's say I've got 12 days to get that done. So how am I going to do it? How much time is it going to take? Is it going to take 3 hours per room? And I have 3 rooms in my place, so 9 hours. And I've got 12 days. If I spend at least 1 hour a day and then do upkeep, I can get it done. So I need to be better at planning that out, and that's going to be my first small task of this. Let's see if I can stick to it. And if I say, hey, on Saturday I'm going to clean for 4 hours, and in the middle of that someone says, let's play games, I need to stop and go, can I afford to do this? Am I going to say, sure, I'll take a break and then schedule these 2 hours guaranteed later? Or do I have to say, no, sorry, I'm busy? For the slightly longer term one, I started this last week. Well, I started this months ago, but I reopened it last week. I was talking to my boss about my job and where I'm going to be, because in a year and a half-ish, I will be eligible for my professional license, and I'll be taking that test and getting it. And so by the end of next year, I should have the test and have my license kind of officially given to me. They've gone through the process. And I was looking at what kind of promotions and pay raises and spots am I going to be. Well, this sort of planning is good because macro, I'm looking at, when we discussed it, we said, hey, you're almost at a design level 2. And then I can see theoretically by the end of next year, you being a project engineer. So I said, sweet. Okay, probably within the next 3-ish months, this is the micro for this, I'll be a designer too. I can get all the official information on what I need for that and get that set up. And then the micro, or I guess this is still macro, but then next summer, the 2027 summer, I will take my test, and at the end of the year, hopefully I get to project engineer status. And so if I can stick to that and continue to micro down the planning as we get further, should be pretty easy to get with that. Another thing is my loans. I've been paying back the minimum on my student loan and my car loan, and I think I'm finally right now at a point where I can start to pay extra on my car. It's going to be about double a month. But I need to do better planning on that rather than just, okay, I paid my rent, my internet, my student loans, blah, blah, blah. Let's see how much money I have. I need to officially put that money to the side and put it in so that my 5-year loan, I want to get that paid off in like 2.5, 3 years. I want that to be paid off by the end of next year. So that then I can take all of that and put it into my student loans along with any pay raises I get. And the student loan payment will go up by 2.5 times. And so hopefully instead of a 10-year repayment on that, I'm looking at like 5 or 6 years. So all in all, I'll be, in debt for about 6 years total, and then I'll be clean and with tons of extra money to start saving for mortgage or for whatever the next debt comes with. And a similar thing I want to be saving for, another plan is a Japan trip. And with that, this is 2 sections of planning. This is planning financially, well, 3. This is planning financially. How much is it going to cost me, and how much do I want to have to spend? It's planning time-wise. When do I want to go? Well, probably don't want to go during the summer because it's really hot. And spring might be really busy. So I might want to go in the fall time, some like September, October, August-ish, when it's a little bit off-season as well, so it's cheaper and it's not as busy. And then language. I have been studying Japanese. Well, I studied it in middle school and high school. I took 6 years of it, maxed out the classes I could, and then I kind of stopped. And recently I've been doing it a little bit here and there. I don't need to and won't be fluent, but I do want to put more time into it so that when I'm there, I'm more conversational. I can walk up and go, "Buste desu ka?" Where's, that's, "Buste doku desu ka?" Right? Where's the bus? Or, gosh, I'm blanking even now on just like a common phrase I could use. Watashi no namae wa Shane desu, right? My name is Shane. Things like that. I want to just be, and maybe be able to like read basic signs and whatnot. Just as more of a goal to continue learning and to see how far I can get with that. And then the final thing I have for planning, and this is less so I guess I should have put this higher up on the list, but I just wrote them down as I thought about it. I went to an improv show over the weekend, the second time I've been to this one in my local area. And they do classes. So they offer, I think, 4 levels of classes. And if you take all 4 of them, you can, be actually in the shows and they pay you for it and whatnot. It's kind of like a side gig job sort of thing. But I have a friend and we were talking about we should go and take an improv class and just have some fun with it. And you do get to put on 1 performance at the end, I think, or maybe 2. And that's another planning thing where just earlier tonight I messaged them. I said, hey, did we have a time frame for this? I know we talked about it, but it's going to cost money and I'm going to have to probably move plans around on one of my busier days of the week to make this work. So I'm going to have to figure that out. And planning it for that in the future is going to be important and necessary. So again, one more step that I'm taking in that. Now, just some other things as a recap for this week. I am kind of getting back into, or maybe taking my first step into this version of dating and being single. And I bring this up because at this same improv night, one of the waitstaff there I thought was very attractive. And my friend was absolutely hyping me up is one word. Bullying would be too harsh. They were heavily trying to convince me to do something about it. And the long story short is I did, and I made the bold move to, ask them, to tell them that I thought they were attractive and ask them if they were free to go on a date or, meet up. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And I got the response that, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend. And I was just, okay, cool, have a good night. And that was my first time ever doing that. I've asked people, I've had a couple of relationships, but it was always people that I knew for longer, and I kind of knew the answer by the time I asked it. So it wasn't, this is the first time I've ever just walked up to a stranger and said that and asked them something intimate-ish like that. And it was kind of exciting in a way, right? I was nervous. It was a bit nerve-wracking. I was feeling it during the show because I was thinking about it, and as the show was getting closer and closer to the end, I thought, well, I have to make a decision if I'm going to do something or not. But looking back, I was like, man, it was nice stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something I haven't done before. And, even though it was a rejection, no harm, no foul. And it's an experience that I have. And this kind of having these experiences go into another thing that I've been, same friend has been kind of teaching me, is to expand a bit more on who I am and how I want to act and how I want to be perceived. There was a moment this weekend where I was playing a card game tournament and I was matched against one of my friends that I play locally. And the unfortunate matter of fact is that I am just better than them. They have never beat me in a best of 3 setting. I just play more competitively than they do, and I see the game in a different way. That is kind of a mindset shift you need to play some of those more competitive decks. And I was looking at a situation where I'm like, I know I'm gonna win this, but I don't want to destroy them because that feels really bad to do so. And I was debating making suboptimal plays so that I could still give them a chance, but in the end still win. And that kind of had to be pointed out to me by them and by a different friend and by myself that is a bit patronizing and it's the wrong thing to do. It's, if you're playing in a multiplayer game with, like a board game with multiple people or in a more cooperative setting or casual setting, yeah, do those sorts of things. It's important that everyone has fun. But when adults sign up for a competitive competition, you're expecting the best, and you should be. And if not, you've got the wrong expectations. And it would be disingenuous for me to not make the best plays and play my best, because then not only do they still lose, but you have to leave there going, wow, I lost and he went easy on me and felt like I wasn't a good player and all of that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, in casual settings, it's fine. I want people to have fun, especially because I do casual board games once a week. I don't need to win. But in something that you're signing up for and you know what you're getting into, and we're all adults about it, I need to be better at just accepting the fact that, hey, those things happened to me before. I got destroyed, and I'm still playing the game. I learned and I grew from it. And it's more than just that game. It's about a lot of things in life. But just that idea that everybody should know what they're going into, or if they do, then respond accordingly. Do what you should do or what's proper for the situation, even if you think it might make them feel bad, because there's a good chance that if the shoe was on the other foot and you were in their position, you wouldn't want to be babied like that. And then finally, that kind of goes into an attitude more that I want to live my life a bit more casually and not be so worried. I get really worried about my work. I'll be like, oh man, I don't know how quickly my boss wants this done, or I wasn't as productive as I wanted, and I'm worried I'm going to get in trouble and fired. And frankly, I look around and see the work that the government is doing and whatnot, and other people in, cushy business jobs, and I go, oh, so people just don't do work. Actually, I shouldn't even be worried about this. And so I want to be not slacking, but just more kind to myself and, I guess in some instances, kind to others, just in a way that things are going to happen and it's going to be fine. Things are going to work out. It'll be fine. Be casual about it. Do your best. Don't slack off. Don't make excuses. But if I'm stressing over every little thing every day, I'm worried about every hour of work and whether I'm meeting expectations or not, it's gonna eat me up, it's gonna burn me out, it's gonna end my life early. So the jobs will get done, the work will be finished. Maybe here and there you got to do a little bit of crunch, things will be uncomfortable, but we all have those moments and no one is perfect. And I think that's the biggest thing I need to take away from this, is that you can strive for perfection, but you have to be willing to accept reality, because if you want to be perfect every single time, you're either always going to be let down or you're never going to get stuff done. And I think that's a really important message to leave myself with for this. So, thank you to anyone who is listening, and I hope you have a great week.